This is a short gameplay video of my indie project Devolve or Die. I'm going to play through the first few levels, show off the main mechanics, how the player can progress through the game, and the overall objective of the game. So this is the main menu. Player's got a few options. You've got options, credits, tutorial, which gives a base rundown of the game, how to control. You can use A and D to rotate left and right. The universe is collapsing inwards, so the player has to get to the center, while they've got this big hazard slowly closing in on them. There is one goal for the player to reach, which is right in the center of the level. It's a wormhole they have to reach to escape the collapse. There's planets that spawn around. The player can eat them, but it will increase their size a bit, so the player wants to avoid them as much as possible to shrink. The player has a hunger bar, so the player will want to avoid planets, but avoiding them for too long, they will slowly increase their hunger and become more uncontrollable, so they have to try and balance out the starving and eating. The player has different abilities at their disposal to use, but these abilities will be lost over the time they devolve. The different zones in the levels, the player has to be a certain size to enter, so as they progress through the level they have to shrink to get into the next zone, and different zones will have different enemies that will appear. It's the level select screen. The player's got a few levels to choose from. I've got a little description of what each level contains. So this contains 2 zones. It's an easy difficulty. Estimated time of collapse is 3 minutes. There's no enemies in the area. This is a introduction type level where it lets the player get the basis of the game. So I've loaded in. I've got my abilities at the bottom, my hunger at the top. As you can see, there's some planets around. And I've got a collapse on the outside, so this is the collapse over here. If I go into it, I've been eradicated, I've lost the level, I need to retry, return to menu or quit. So I'll retry, reloads, I'm back to my initial size. So my goal is this wormhole in the center. I can't enter this green zone yet, I need to be size 900. So I'm slowly shrinking over time, but my hunger's increasing. So I can eat planets to reduce my hunger, but it'll increase my size a bit. So I have to try and balance them two out. I've reached below size 900, so I've reached my first devolution state, where I have to choose which ability I'll lose. So I can choose between the attract ability and the repel ability. I'll choose attract for now. So I've got a few different abilities I can use. Repel pushes things away. Shield will protect from enemy attacks. Boost increases speed. Slow slows down and allows the player to turn quickly. I've got a fear and a stun, both used on enemies to buy the player time. So you can see the planets are still spawning, hunger was increasing. I need to be size 700 to enter the next area. Collapse is slowly coming in. So first level, it'll be pretty easy for the player to progress. Collapse isn't coming in fast. The player hasn't got any enemies to watch out for. They just have to try and avoid eating too many planets to make it to the center before the collapse. I've reached the final zone, just need to get into the wormhole now. Need to be size 500 for the wormhole, so I have to wait 150 size to reach the wormhole. Be careful I don't eat too many planets. Watch my hunger, because as my hunger increases, I'll become more uncontrollable. I won't be able to control myself as well, and random abilities will get called. I've got another devolution state here, so I'm going to choose to lose the fear ability. I can no longer use the fear ability. There's no enemies, so I don't need to worry about that in this level anyway. Almost there, 50 size left to go. I've lost the outer zone of the galaxy now. Collapse is slowly coming in. But I've reached the size now, wormhole reached. I can proceed to the next level, return to menu or quit. I'll go into the next level. This is level 2, so this is when I introduce the first type of enemy. I need to be size 900 to get into the next area. I'm on the outer rim of the galaxy at the moment, so I need to be careful not to go into the collapse. I've got some planets that are spawning. That planet's going to block my way if I'm not careful. I'll get rid of repel this time so I can show attract, which pulls any planets in, any enemies in, so I can kill enemies in one fell swoop. And if my hunger's 100% when I need to eat really quickly, I can attract everything nearby. So I've got these chaser enemies spawning now. As I've entered this zone, I've alerted the enemies, they're now spawning. So the chaser enemies will chase the player until they reach them, and then they will explode. When they explode, they stun for a set amount of time, so you need to be careful you don't get stunned for long enough that the collapse can catch you. I can use my shield to prevent the stun working, but when my shield's on cooldown, I need to be careful. I can also use the fear to push them away. They'll be scared away from me. I scared that one into the collapse. I can also stun to stop them moving. What size do I need to be to get into the next area? 500 until the wormhole. I just got stun locked there a bit, so I need to be careful. I was near the center, so it's fine. I'll lose the ability to shield. 500, okay. That was a hunger bar doing that. I didn't press the attract ability there. So you can see that sometimes you'll get ability casts you don't want, or controls you don't want, so you need to be careful to monitor your hunger and control it wisely. And there we go. And level 3. This is when I introduce the second enemy type. This is going to be the shooter enemy. So when I alert the enemies by entering the next zone, shooter enemies will spawn. I'm on the outer rim of the collapse again. I need to reach size 900 to get into the center. I'll lose attract. Okay, I've entered the next zone. I've got extra zones this time. This is an extra layer I need to get through. These are the shooter enemies. You can tell by their different type of spaceship. So they shoot knockback projectiles, so when the knockback projectiles hit, they'll push the player away a bit. So the player needs to be careful not to be too close to the collapse to get hit by them. The player can attack these enemies though, by crashing into them. So you can attack or evade. It's really up to you. You need to be size 700 to enter. Collapse is getting close. Be size 500 to enter the next area. I'll lose the ability to fear. If you forget what size you need to be to enter the zone, you can always go crash into the zone, see if you're big enough, small enough. If not, it'll let you know what size. Get rid of that enemy. Don't want to get knocked into the collapse. I've got a bit of hunger increase now, so I'm getting a few random rotations. So if I don't press anything, I should get. Yep, I got a random turn left there. Gotta be careful it doesn't make me go into the collapse. And there we go, I reached the next wormhole. That was the 3 levels, the first 3 levels there. So if I can see the level descriptions. But that was a short gameplay video just to show off how the game is played. And thanks for watching.